Hey, all you metal mixers, it's your old pal Gen X and
Dark J.
How you guys doing on this Saturday again? Hope you said well. Well, we're going to make another video because this has actually been on my mind, and I think it's a great topic for this conversation that we're going to have.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys had a great Friday. We did one about Night Train, so catch that video before you catch this one.
Yes.
Okay, kind of in sequence. And the Halloween video before that, they're kind of out of sequence, but the Halloween video we're going to post first, then the one that we talked about, Night Train, and now this one.
Yes.
We're kind of playing catch up.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, we just watched the documentary about death, and I really didn't know a lot about Chuck and that whole history of death. You know more than I do, but I have that Control Denied CD.
Yeah.
And what really intrigued me was I bought that, I want to say that it was 2018, right around Christmas time, if not the year prior. It was 17 or 18 that I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I bought it is because I'm really a big progressive metal fan. And I was surprised, I didn't even know that ever got released because they kind of sunk that whole CD.
Yeah.
The Fragile Art of Existence. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, Control Denied was Chuck's project that was more progressive death metal. I wouldn't even call it progressive death metal because after watching that documentary about death, it's on YouTube and it's what was it called? After Death? Or
Death to All?
no.
No, that was their demo.
No, that was their demo. But in any case, I'll get the name for you guys. It kind of slided my mind right now. But there's an official documentary that was done back in 2018 about his life.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically covered from the very early days of death when he was starting out to the very end of his life. He died tragically of cancer at the age of 34.
Yeah, like pneumonia.
December 13th of 2000 or 2001.
2001.
Okay, 2001. I remember when he died. And
Mm-hmm.
they kind of, it kind of left a little bit to be desired because they left out a lot of different things.
In the documentary.
They left out a lot of different things, and I don't know if that was because of just for time or it was not, to me, it seemed like it was rushed and it was edited kind of poorly.
Yeah.
I think they skipped over a lot of the things. And the thing that, I mean, I've never really listened to any Death albums in their entirety, so you would know more about them. So why don't you bring your perspective of what your favorite Death albums are, and,
Okay.
because you know more about the subject than I do. I know more about Control Denied than I would the whole Death repertoire.
So, Death's first CD was Scream Bloody Gore, and I think that was in 85 or 86. I got into him at Leprosy when I was in high school. That was the first Death album I heard. And yes, it was more on the vein of death metal. And then there was always the talks, well, who was the first death metal band? And, it was always a thing back then saying Possessed was or Death was, But that was the thing back then. They're both great bands.
Well, they were actually friends, though, too, because Chuck went to, is his name Jeff? Right.
Yeah.
And he actually brought up in one of their, kind of a making of their last record, he brought that up, that they did things together, and I won't say on Facebook, but they partied together.
Yeah, right.
And it kind of brought me back to, like, what I was saying, that he was paranoid. And the thing about Chuck is, I think he got overwhelmed with the whole touring aspect.
Especially going over to Europe.
Yeah, for some reason he always canceled and everything else. But album-wise, you know more about him because, like you said, Leprosy. What were the other records that they had?
They had Spiritual Healing, which came out in 90, and then Human, I think, was
Yeah,
91.
Human, and then Symbolic, which
And then
I heard Symbolic.
Individual thought patterns.
Right.
That's the one that had Andy LaRocque in
Okay.
as
Wasn't he a guest?
Guest guitarist. Yeah.
Right.
And then during around that time, like individual thought patterns, is when I noticed, maybe even on Human, their sound started getting a little bit more progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And you can especially hear it on Symbolic. Because when I picked that CD up back in 95, it blew me away. Every track on that is stellar on Symbolic. Yeah. And then in 98 is when The Sound of Perseverance came out.
Right. And that was right before Control Denied.
Yes. That was the last Death album.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that documentary again. For some reason it just escapes my mind, but I'll cover it in another video what the name of it is, but you can find it on YouTube or on Prime. It's free to watch. But was it called After Death? Maybe. Don't quote me on the name, but it's there.
I don't remember either.
Right. But Gene Hoglan of Testament even said that by that time, during those albums, the very last one, he was thinking about quitting, and then they ended up firing him. So he was kind of relieved. That whole lineup was.
Yeah.
But what he went into detail about, and I found it very interesting about Chuck, is I think what he was trying to do, and a lot of bands could learn about this because I'm like this now, and I've always been like this.
Mm.
He was done with the death metal sound. That whole thing.
From like the earlier
right.
days. Yeah.
He was, it had already been done. You know, when you create a sound or you come up with a different type of twist on something and you've grown and your albums they're still the same, but you want to grow as an artist. He was trying different things back then that you think about it now and it's like, wow, it was revolutionary. You know, he was going more for a power metal sound. And that's the problem with bands nowadays. You get pigeonholed into, I'm going to sound this certain way throughout the whole time you're in a band. The thing about it is with me, and that's why my channel our channel stands out, is I've never been, and I learned this a long, long time ago, never get pigeonholed into one set genre of music. Mm-hmm. My thing is, I call myself a glam thrasher. Only because, as a musician, which I never fronted a band, but I would love to, because I could bring it, and I've told people that, and they've heard me, never to pigeonhole yourself in a certain type of music as far as metal, because you never know what opportunities are going to arise. You want to kind of keep it fresh, and I call myself a glam thrasher because I listen, and I don't like the term hair metal, and that was the only problem when I was watching that Possessed making of record, is when Jeff was talking about hair metal. I have a problem with that term because we're not back in the 80s, and we're definitely not in the 90s calling people posers. We are not posers. We happen to love the bands that we love. I love Poison just as much as I do Testament. And even some of the harder stuff that I listen to. Am I a poser for that? Hell the fuck no, I'm not. I'm smart. Because you have to keep it fresh and you have to keep it original. Because if you don't, you're going to lose your fan base. And a lot of these bands are finding that out now. It's an FAFO, fuck around and find out now. Because a lot of bands are retiring or they're getting out of the business or whatever, they're not drawing. So that's why I'm trying to take a thought from Chuck. He was trying to keep it fresh. And I think if he wouldn't have died, if he wouldn't have passed, I think Control Denied would have been that album will blow you away. I was just, man, if they would only would finish that second CD. They only got the four songs. What was the name of it? Man versus Machine, or
When Man and Machine Collide.
When Man and Machine Collide. And the new singer of Nevermore, and dude, I don't want to mess up your name, but he's on YouTube. He posted that. And remember what I told you yesterday. If they ever finish that record, because the singer Tim passed away in 2023 from Control Denied. He's no longer with us.
Mm.
I really do think that the two that could finish that record with the original lineup of Control Denied would be Jeff Loomis and their new singer. I think they could pull it off.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know, or Brian from Metal Church. That's the only two singers I could think of, unless they got an unknown. Somebody that could really, that dude was powerful. Tim was a vocal coach too.
Yeah.
So everything that when he sang it with passion, and you could hear it, you know. And that whole Control Denied album, oh, is that great? That's got to be one of my new favorites. I listened to it, and I'm like, God, why wasn't I listening to Death or to any of that back then? I was so stupid, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm really getting into them because I see the brilliance of Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
He was a great
unfortunately,
guitar player.
oh, he was
Yeah.
and they said he was a really good singer too.
Yeah.
I love getting into these topics because I could sit here for hours just talking about this kind of woulda, shoulda, coulda been, you know. But Death, I think, reached a plateau. What was your favorite Death album out of all the whole catalog
Oh, the whole
that I would
catalog
have
of
to
Death.
go back and listen to? Human or Symbolic, or which ones would you recommend to the audience to go back and listen to? Because, like I said, I'm new at
The main
this
two,
thing.
the main two that I mentioned earlier, Leprosy and Symbolic.
Really. Okay.
Those are my two favorites.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go back. We'll have to listen to those and
Yeah.
remember Chuck. And I love these topics. You know, I've been wanting to do for the past 2 days. I'm like, man, I got to get this episode done
Mhm.
because these are passionate, you know, ones that I love to do.
Yeah.
But if you guys are watching, what is your favorite Death albums? Drop it down in the comments. Do you guys like Control Denied as well? I absolutely got. Oh, they sunk that record. They really did. They were just like, they put it out. I believe the actual one that I bought, the copy, I don't know if I still have it. I paid $20 for it, and you said that it might be even worth more. But it was one of those like Amazon finds,
Oh.
and I was like really surprised. I was like, oh, wow. I go, well, I'm into progressive metal, so I'm gonna. And I was just blown away back then. But I kind of put it on the shelf,
Mhm.
and then just recently, I'm just like, I don't know where we were going. I think we were going to see Halloween, and we played it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. I said, this fucking record, it just blows me away how good it is. I'm never going to stop talking about it because every time I hear it, it's like, wow. And there's a video for one of the songs. Which one is it?
Mm.
There is an official video.
Yeah. I
But
can't
it's
think
kind
the
of
name
weird because the only part of the whole video
Is
is,
it Breaking the Broken?
I think it's Breaking the Broken. That's the one. That
I
it's
think.
Breaking the Broken. And all that you would really know about if it is was a Control Denied video was it has the portraits of the guys, the players in the band.
Oh yeah.
You know, Chuck and
Yeah.
Tim and Richard Christie played drums on that record, didn't he?
Yes, and he also played drums on Death's The Sound of Perseverance.
Who was the bass player on Control Denied? His last name was Ham. Brian Ham?
Shannon Ham?
Yeah, Shannon Ham was their bass player because he even wanted to go back.
No, wasn't it Steve DiGregorio?
I think it was Steve
And then
DiGregorio.
Shannon Ham
Yeah.
was the guitar. The other
Yeah,
guitar
okay,
player.
that's right. That's right. I'm sorry, guys.
No.
I don't mean to mix up. Like I said, new to all of the Death family, you know, and that's really a band that I will be checking out for sure because I missed out on that, and I have so many of my friends that love Death. Most of their audience is male. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know. I mean, I'm not denying it. There's not too many females I know that love Death. I know they're out there.
Yeah.
It's
that's
just,
fair.
you know, it's one of those few and far betweens, just like Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween does not have a big female audience. It's mostly guys. I mean, at least here, you know. But Death is a band that I could probably talk about in a later video, what I think of all of their releases. We'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have some input from that. So I think I'm going to we'll end this video now.
Okay.
So if you happen to like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Push that notification bell. Share it with anybody who you think might like this wild and crazy content. And subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank all of our Facebookers, our Threaders, and our Instagrammers. Thank you for that. I forgot to in the last video.
Oh yeah.
All of our YouTube subscribers, you know who you are. Love you guys. And last but certainly not least, our TikTok Around the Clock crew, our rock and rollers. We love you. Thanks for chiming in.
Ding.
And look for his studio, his channel. What it is?
Tacomia Studios.
Thank you. And let's end this video. Always look good. Always do good. Always do your best. Be your best, whatever you do in life. Because what? We love you. That's why. 2, smell good. Don't be a ranky rank skanky skank. Haters to the back of the line. Stand on your own twos. No drama for your mama. And stay out of people's beeswax.
Beeswax.
And 3, chains hanging.
Chains hanging.
Till the next video, guys, we love you. All the best. This was a great topic. We'll have more.
Yes.
We'll catch you on the next one.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.